Well, good morning, my friends. Back to a much anticipated and unsure project of how it's going to turn out. I have no idea. It's something I'm trying. You've seen it in the background for the last couple of days, just sitting there. Well, I've got it mounted on the lathe. Now, this is going to be an experiment. I don't know if it's going to work for me at all. So anyway, let me bring it to the lathe and I'm going to start turning this. Well, yep, I have that open air, as John said, bowl mounted on. And right now it's just mounted on my lathe on the rough hole that I have of this segment ring. And all I want to do at this point is bring this down somewhat and get a feel for the bowl, see what's going to happen, how I'm going to shape it before I even touch the inside. Also, by doing that, it's going to give me some idea of what it is that I want to do to wrap up the bowl. Whether if I want something solid on the top, whether if I want another segment ring, whether if I want how I'm going to make the base. So stay tuned and come along for the ride. Right now I got this spinning at the slowest speed, but once I get in here I'm gonna have to speed it up. I just want to see how it's gonna handle before I speed up this lathe. So I'm gonna start off by throwing off this base ring and coming off towards this top over here where it's a little bit more solid, and throw off this part before I get into the mahogany staves in the center. Bring you on a top view on this. Okay, well, that will be a little bit better. You can see what I'm doing during this process. While I'm doing this, I'm going to bring up a faceplate, something on the front edge of this to keep it somewhat true. Keep it under pressure. Now, this brings me a little far out, so I'm going to get my smaller tool rest in here. Anytime you can work between centers somehow, you know, you always That's always the safe route to take. Now this is not glued in, it's just under pressure, and for what I'm doing, that is good. Don't have that, and if I do a faceplate, the problem that I'm facing with is once I start turning the inside and going deep enough to meet up with this base, well, it's going to do something funky on this area. It's really not going to flow through unless the base continues going out on this same shape that I already got established over here. That continued OG, which the base would be wider than this point over here. That's the only way I can come in here and maintain about 1/4 of an inch till it meets the foot and go that way. If I did a recess, then it wouldn't force me to go in that deep in this area, and it would make for a better finish of whatever I wanted to do with this. But because I have limitations, I'm just going to do a ring to go the whole outside of this. Be right back. Okay, I got a solid mahogany piece over here. I'm just going to round it off a little bit and true up the face where I'm going to attach it to the other piece. Now I'm going to have to leave this here for some time to dry up. I want to make sure that before my next step and start doing any of this turning, I have this completely dried. So I'm going to apply some glue here, good amount. Center it up as much as I can on this faceplate. and be back for it probably tomorrow on this one. Okay, and while this is drying up, I decided that I want to do something still a little different with this. This point right here is going to be very weak. Once I start turning it down, it's end grain against face grain, and if I thin it down to 1/4 of an inch, which all of this will be visible, so that's most likely where I'm going to be aiming for, this has a potential that it might come loose on me. So thinking about it for a little bit and how the bowl looks and everything else, I decided I would cut up some little an 8 segment piece to go right in between this. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab a clamp, put it in here, open it up, put these in place, and then clamp this down and let this whole piece dry up. They're going deep enough, so and what this does is it connects, it makes it 3 dark rings throughout the whole vase, split up by 2 light rings. So I think that will be a nice touch. Well, I'm back. It's been a couple of hours that this has been drying up. Still not ready for me to start hollowing up the inside on this. But while I was looking at this and deciding, it's like, okay, I am making do. And it will bother me forever. I think that this is going to be a really, really nice looking piece. And the fact that I have a cedar ring, which is something I already had made up in the shed, and it's 12 segments, the bowl is all set up with 8 segments. So even though I went to get to the centers on these areas, the ones that are offset don't necessarily hit centers. So and I mean, it looks nice when it's finished, this wood, but because I have maple and mahogany going through here, and as it is, I made this ring out of here, over here, out of poplar. So that's another area that bothers me a little bit, but I'm not going to go and do anything about that. I decided I wanted to make a special ring specifically to go with the sequence that's going on in this bowl. So I have a ring made up that's going to go here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to part this one off, pull it off, and put it aside maybe for some other project, but not this one. So when I do that, I'll read through the face on here and attach that one. So stay with me. So like I said, I'm going to take the parting tool, just go in there. I'm actually going to use the thin parting tool. But go in there and part that out. Bring the tailstock in there so it doesn't fly off. Crazy, it will just lock itself up on the around that tailstock. So I'll save this ring for something else. I'm gonna take my sanding block and sand that up as well. Now, I know that I'm going to feel a lot better about this decision that I just made. So, here's the ring that I made up. It's mahogany and maple, and I did it in 2 pieces. And this one is maple on maple. So they're about 3/8. The mahogany is a little bit thicker than the maple, but that is fine. So I think I'm gonna add I'm gonna put the mahogany up against this so the red mahogany can come and connect with this, and put the white spaces equally divided up with the poplar. So that's the plan right now. I'm going to true this up real quick. Okay, I've let it dry for a few minutes. Sorry, I thought it was recording when I started to cut this. So, even though I'm not able to remove my tailstock in for a while, I decided to start shaping this outside, seeing what I wanted to create, how it was going to complement the base. And I figured that right now what I'm achieving, I think it's a nice compliment to the rest of the bowl. You know, I keep looking from different angles and see what I got, and what I got looks pretty good. It's right now it's a base, but I keep looking and saying, okay, what can I do to even maybe make it look better, hopefully. And I think I'm gonna follow up with this and make this a hollow vessel. Go in there, just leave a small mouth on it and turn it up from and see how that's gonna go. So just gonna flow this circle that's here until it feathers out, and where it feathers out and dies, that will be the deciding factor on where I'm gonna open it up to. Saving a piece of this mahogany. Okay, see if I can clean up this cut a little bit. That is pretty good. I'm gonna come out a little bit and clean up this area as well. some wood imperfections here. It's not a tear out. I just so happened I got to it. Okay, I'm back. It's been on here for about 3 hours or so. So I'm gonna go very carefully with this. But I'm gonna hollow up the inside. I'm just gonna do it with a gouge, applying pressure inwards and try not to beat up on it, and then with my hollowing tool, finishing it off. So, let's see how that goes. The tool should still be nice and sharp. I sharpened it up not too long ago. But if I see that it's giving me a hard time, I'll give it a quick over. Well, putting some sandpaper on a stick and go in there and just get a little bit of that stuff. Well, folks, I gotta tell you, it looks damn good. Much better than I ever anticipated. I really didn't know which way I was gonna go with this, but I am pleased with this. All I gotta do is the foot. The shine looks good. A nice finish. Inside and out, an interesting looking piece. Now, the top. I popped out that cedar ring, which was definitely a good thing for this piece. And I grabbed a piece of what I thought was mahogany. It was rough sewn, it looked black on the outside, cut it up, did not notice anything. But as I started applying the finish to the bowl, I realized that it looks to me like it's cherry and not poplar. I wanted to maintain the bowl with just a couple of pieces of wood, so that's a little drawback, but anyway, the whole piece has a nice finish. I don't think the camera will pick that up inside, but yeah, it looks good. And the bottom, finished freehand. It's a signature. But anyway, here's the piece. Thank you for watching, guys. It's really exciting when I get people, telling me that they're dying to see, or they want to see the next project that might be behind me or something like that, and they're anxiously waiting for it. So this one, I mean, it was one of those projects that I started off without really giving it much thought whatsoever on how I was going to finish it, and it's basically one of those things that evolved during the turning process. I like planning things out, but I like every once in a while rack my brain while I'm doing something and just modify it and make it look good or make it work. So anyway, I decided to make this a hollow vessel. Go figure, hollow vessel with holes all over the place. But thank you again. We'll see you next time.